So, a little while ago, I shared online that Billy and I decided that we are ready to take the reins on Madison's education and begin homeschooling. So, this year will be the first year that we are homeschooling Madison, and we couldn't be more excited. And for me, this was a huge full circle moment as an entrepreneur, because don't we all just dream of being able to put our families first and really prioritize decisions that allow us to actually live a wealthy life and not just pursue building something that creates a wealthy life, right? And there's a big difference. So I want to share a little bit about what went into our decision, why we're doing it, and how we're going to pull this off. And I hope that this will inspire you. I know that, first of all, I already have so many amazing parents in my community that homeschool already. So kudos to all of you. I have spoken to so many of you over the last few months that had great experiences homeschooling your children, and also many of you that are homeschooling right now. And then I also heard from a lot of you that said, hey, this is something I've been thinking about for forever, and I'm not sure if I'm ready yet. I'm not sure if it's right for me, but I'm going to be watching your journey. So I hope you'll share more. And as promised, I'm absolutely going to do that, because I consider this to be the highest form of making a family first decision, which is, to me, the number one pillar: faith and family when it comes to entrepreneurship. It's who I want to be as a leader. It's what I want to share with the world. It's the type of leaders that I want to lead and mentor are people that are prioritizing their faith and their family. And so I hope that this decision will also inspire and encourage other people to consider whether or not this is the right path for them. And I don't believe it's the right path for everyone, by the way. There's never going to be a one size fits all. For some families, this absolutely just would not be the right thing. But for us, it's perfect for right now. And I don't know what that means for the future. I just know what that means for this year ahead. And we're going to take it one day at a time and see where things go. But we're looking forward to it, and we're excited. So first of all, the homeschooling movement, especially in the United States, has taken a life of its own. People from all over the country are deciding to pull their kids from traditional school, and they are putting their hands and their hearts back into their children's education. And I think that this goes hand in hand with so much of what you've heard me share on the show, which is kind of this culture war that's going on, and how this culture war is going to impact the future generations. And I think people like me are seeing this and are realizing that there's nothing more precious that you can give to your children than time with you. There's no amount of money. There's nothing you can do for them. There's nothing that you can buy for them that can possibly replace the value of quality time together. And so that is why I believe that the privilege and honor of being able to homeschool our children is like one of the highest callings that you could possibly have in your life, because it is that gift of time together. But many people have been doing this for years. And I wanted to talk today just a little bit about some of the top reasons why we chose to pursue this path, and also why so many others are doing the same. Millions of people are taking control of their children's education, and they're doing the same. So I'll share from our perspective some of the things that were really important to us. First of all, flexibility and freedom. The big decision that we made back 10 years ago was that Billy was going to be home full time and manage our house and be available for Madison. She was never going to go to daycare. Our whole focus was really strengthening the family unit, investing in our marriage and in our relationship, and investing in the bond between us and our daughter. And so we've built our entire life around sacrificing having two incomes, only having one, so that we could prioritize our family. And it's gotten to the point now where I've built really successful companies, and we've accomplished a lot of the things that we wanted to. We moved to our dream location by the beach here in Florida. And we really got to the point where it was like, okay, now what? Because we have all this freedom and all this flexibility in our personal lives, but now Madison's school schedule is dictating our travel schedule. It's dictating, when we plan family events and occasions, and kind of where we go and what we do. So the first reason was flexibility and freedom. We want to be able to travel more. We want to be able to have more freedom as a family. And we've done all these other things over 10 years to put ourselves in a position to do that. And this was kind of the final thing, the final holdback that we had from a freedom perspective, that we realized if we change this one thing, we can finally have complete and total family freedom. So that was the first reason. The second reason, which is a really big reason, was just moral and ethical kind of faith foundation and faith formation. We have a clear set of beliefs around morality, around ethics, around the person that we want to cultivate Madison to be in the world. And we did not feel that she was getting that from the traditional education system. And, there's all different types of schools. Madison was in a private school, very, very good private school. And, they, of course, did a great job at what they did, but there was a depth lacking in the foundational relationship building, with Jesus Christ, with the Lord as Savior, with God, understanding that perspective and that way of navigating through life that I felt that I personally needed to be really involved in with her to help her to build that in a positive and constructive way. And, there are schools, obviously there's Christian schools, there's Catholic schools, there's all different schools depending on the religion that you're in. But again, there's going to be a difference between being taught a religious curriculum versus, faith formation and foundation being built at home and in lived experience, right? So that was another big one for us. And the third one was we wanted to have more influence over who Madison was spending her time with and the types of kids that she was interacting with from the standpoint of our values. And, I'm sure everyone is aware, it's no secret that between the iPads and the phones and the Apple Watches and the amount of use of the computer and digital devices that kids have these days, that they're very much lacking in manners and coordination and speaking and taking initiative and work ethic. And, that's not something that you can put a price on. And just by sending your child to a good school, even a very expensive school, does not mean that they're going to be interacting with kids that understand that are on that same path. And so we wanted to be able to choose to put her in intentional settings where she's interacting with kids and families that also have the same priorities around the development of their children and who they're becoming as human beings, and not just going with the way of the world, which is laptops and iPhones and devices and, constantly being connected. And we just didn't want that for her. We wanted something very, very different. And so that was another huge piece. For me personally, I felt like the clock was ticking in terms of my opportunity to actually have the time to start passing on my legacy of what I've learned as a business leader, as an entrepreneur, as a thought leader. And I just had this growing discomfort in myself to say, how is it that all of these other people from around the globe are paying me all this money for my expertise to coach them, to train them, to teach them, and I am dedicating my life to being a teacher, and yet I'm not teaching my own daughter? And a big thing for me was the busyness of the schedule with going to traditional school, the number of hours that they're away. Then they come home, they have homework. Then they have after school activities. There is very little downtime. And even on top of that, there's very little time where you can say, okay, I know you're spending 8 hours at school and then you're coming home and doing your homework and then you're studying for your test. But now on top of that, I want to teach you business. I want to teach you entrepreneurship. I want to teach you financial literacy, public speaking, communications, and I could go on and on and on. It was unreasonable and it wouldn't be fair to her. And so I had to make a choice, and I had to ask myself, which of these things is going to have a greater impact on her ability to navigate the world successfully and to build a great life for herself. The traditional core subjects that she's learning in school, or these life skills that are going to come with the things that I can teach her. When I was honest with myself, it's all of these things that I can teach her that are going to have a much more significant impact on her ability to navigate the world successfully, learn how to earn and take care of herself and build great relationships and create whatever career so that she wants to. And when you look at homeschooling, kids can, in about 2 hours a day, complete the curriculum that is required for those foundational things that you're sending them in for 7 hours, sometimes longer, to learn in school. So if you think about that, it's just a ton of time wasted. It's a ton of energy wasted. And there's no time in the traditional education system for kids to actually be learning what they need, because they're being forced to focus on the curriculum that they have to test against. And this is where I feel like our culture has just gotten so off the rails insane, is that parents care more about making sure that their kids test well to get the scholarship, or to get into the right high school, or to get into the right college, or to get the scholarship on the athletic team, than they do about the well-rounded actual development of the human and setting them up for success to navigate the world. And so for me, I was like, I just can't sit back anymore and do this. And like, I typically ask myself, like, if I was at the end of my life, like, what would my regrets be if I changed nothing? And I really don't have a lot of regret in my life, but I will tell you that if it was the end of my life and I looked back and I didn't do this, I would have a massive amount of regret around it, because I would feel that I did a disservice as a parent to Madison by not showing up for her in the way that I'm showing up for people as clients of mine and as team members of mine in my business. And so these are just a few of the things. There's a lot that Billy wants to teach her, just about hands-on things about navigating the world and the home and, negotiating. And, he has a whole host of skills that I don't have, and a whole lot of knowledge and expertise that I don't have in a lot of areas. So he has his own whole plan for what he's going to do. But needless to say, I could go on and on. There's so many endless reasons. But I think the thing is as entrepreneurs, we have to be the rule breakers, and we have to be the people that question everything. And I never imagined myself being a person that was going to be homeschooling. But when I look at my life values, my life priorities, the vision for who I want to be as a person, but also who I want to cultivate my daughter to be, this was just a completely obvious, glaring opportunity to do better and to be better and to invest myself in this process with her. So really excited. And I hope for those of you that have been thinking about it, that this is helpful for you. The other thing is the homework thing. I just can't get on board with. I don't feel like kids need to go in for 7 hours and then come home and do like multiple hours of homework. I don't really feel like it's productive. I spent many, many hours of my life memorizing index cards and regurgitating information for tests. I don't think that really helped me develop as a person or prepared me for the world. But working in jobs at night and on the weekends definitely did. And so that's the other thing. I want to make sure that Madison has time and space to get jobs as quickly and as early on as she possibly can, because I know those skills are really going to be foundational for her in navigating a very competitive world, right? Where that real world experience is going to be super crucial. I could list so many things here, but I don't want to bore you. I'm just giving you a little bit of the insight behind things for me. But again, I realize that homeschooling is not necessarily the right thing for everyone. I realize that we're very privileged and very lucky to even be able to entertain this opportunity with our daughter. And I'm so thankful for that. And it was many years in the making to put ourselves and our family in the position to be able to do this. And I certainly couldn't do it if I didn't have Billy as a teammate to go through this process together while running the business. So a couple things that I want to share with you that I think could help you. Number one, if you're listening to all this and you're like, okay, that's awesome, but I'm not there, and I'm not in a position to do this, but you'd like to get your daughter exposure to some of these principles and concepts of money management, financial literacy, communication skills, entrepreneurship, business 101, courage and confidence, DM me the word courage, because we are releasing something new this fall in the Courageous brand, Give Her Courage, which is one of my companies in the portfolio that focuses specifically on the development of these foundational things with young girls. So maybe you don't want to take on homeschooling homeschooling full time, but maybe you'd like to leverage some of the things that I'm doing with Madison for your own daughter. And if that's the case, or maybe it's your granddaughter, your niece, your goddaughter, DM me the word courage. You can do it right now. Just pull out your phone. You're probably holding it in your hand while you're listening. DM me the word courage, and I'll tell you what I have going on and ways that you can get your daughter some exposure to some of the things that I'm teaching Madison during her homeschool. And if this is a topic that interests you, just send me a DM and let me know. And I'm happy to record more episodes on this topic. So again, DM me the word courage anywhere that we're connected, whether it's Instagram, it's Facebook, LinkedIn, X, Threads. DM me the word courage and I'll send you information on what we have going on and how your daughter can benefit from it. Okay. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Don't forget to DM me the word courage before you go, and I'll see you on the next show.